Call Halal, Wahawat, La Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rahak Wadash, the abundance of the elder apostles, the great millstone, rule well, who have taught us this knowledge. Salutations to you, fellow laborers out there doing the work of truth, sincerity. Shalom to you, and shalom to the few Akwap that believe as well. Brother Hardab come back at you with another quick lesson. It's a short video, but very important to us, developing among the nations, especially with this Ukraine war, which has been an ongoing war, for pretty much for territory reasons between NATO and Russia. In this particular video, Vladimir Putin is basically rallying up his allies, and one of his allies is Iran. And the U.S. thought that they can get Iran on its side, when clearly that's a fairy tale, because the Iranians, which are the biblical Persians, they hate America with good reason. All right. And America has not kept their word with Iran. And also, America supports the people that occupy the land of Israel, which is the main reason for a lot of these ongoing wars around the Middle East. All right. And so those Arab nations, so-called Arab nations, right? Sons of Ishmael. And then you have the Persians, which are the Iranians today. And a lot of those Middle Eastern countries are not at ease with the occupants of the land of Israel. All right. And so that's a big thorn in Iran's side, and the U.S. knows it. All right. And then on top of that, the JCPOA, which, that agreement was broke. All right, that agreement was broke by the U.S. and Iran hasn't looked back yet. They waited for a while for the U.S. to come back to the table and keep their side of the agreement, which they didn't. And that's America's MO. They don't keep their agreements, right? Just like they didn't keep their agreement with Gad, then they keep their agreement with us. All right, no tribe of our people, of the nation of Israel. And so, here it is. The Iranians are bringing their, commitments, all right, to its, BRIC nations allies, all right, and making good on their word as far as their alliance to go against America, all right, which we know the prophecy of America and how all the nations are going to come together against America, even America's allies, all right, referring to the book of Obadiah when it's speaking about Esau, Edom, right, and it says that all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even unto the border, all right, the people that were at peace with thee have laid a wound under thee, roughly paraphrasing Obadiah, and that's what's going to happen eventually, but the main nation that the Lord is going to send against America, because if you don't know, by the way, America is Babylon the Great, is the land, you got Gog, the land of Magog, all right, and that's Russia. So it makes sense for Russia and Iran to get together, all right, because that's a biblical prophecy. So let me play this video clip. Like I said, I'm not going to make this video long. Excuse me. And Lord willing, this video is edifying.
West Asia has had a busy week. First, Joe Biden landed with a to-do list. He made a mess of it and returned empty-handed. Then Vladimir Putin went to Iran. He played his cards better than Biden, and he's returning with some big wins to Moscow. Putin secured a strategic partnership plus an energy deal. And that's something that Biden too came for, remember. He wanted an oil deal, but the Saudis refused. Putin, on the other hand, landed a $40 billion oil deal. And the big picture does not look good for Washington, D.C. Russia is far from being isolated, let alone being defeated. It is forging new partnerships. With Iran, Putin is creating a...
Let me pause that, right? Let me pause that. Now you heard what this host said. She said Russia is far from being isolated, let alone defeated. You Israelites out there need to understand something. No matter how you feel, all right, put your feelings aside. The fact of the matter is, at the beginning and end of the day, prophecy is going to be fulfilled. And it's time for America to receive her judgment. All right, Babylon the Great is getting ready to receive her judgment. Plagues are already hitting this place. So everything you see going on is not going to go in America's favor.
Landed a $40 billion oil deal. And the big picture does not look good for Washington, D.C. Russia is far from being isolated, let alone being defeated. It is forging new partnerships. With Iran, Putin is creating a new anti-America axis. How will this help Russia? What impact will this have on West Asia and the world? And what role will Turkey play in this new game? We'll discuss all of this in the next few minutes.
Now, you heard us say Turkey. Now, even though Turkey is a part of NATO, they really don't like America either, you know. President Erdogan, he don't really care for America. But we'll get to that later. Let's go to Ezekiel 38 real quick. Ezekiel 38 and 1, it says, "And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Now, when you go into the you go into the blue letter, right? Let's click on it, and it brings up Japhet, right? See, it says Magog, the land of Magog, right? It says the second son of Japhet, grandson of Noah, and progenitor of several tribes northward from Israel. So you will automatically think it's talking about Japhet if you're not, if your spiritual eyes haven't been open, all right. If you don't know the truth or how to do your own research and look up things, prophecy wise. Now the people of Japhet were pushed out. You got the Etruscans, all right, they were a dark-skinned nation, all right. Japhet is a dark-skinned people as well, all right. Matter of fact, all the nations are dark-skinned people besides the nation of Esau, Edom. Excuse me. At least he get with a dark nation's woman and have seed or sow his seed among them, all right. And they be an Edomite foreigner, you know. But Esau pushed Japhet out, and then he lived in their land. So when you look at the land of Magog, you'll see that it's talking about Russia. Okay? It's talking about Russia. And you can look this up on Google, which I've done many a times. Other Akim, elder apostles, we always go into that. In this video, I'm not going to pull it up because if you just now, learn this knowledge, you need to do your own research. Just type in the land of Gog, all right? And it'll come up and it'll show you a map. You know what? I said I wasn't going to do it. Let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to go to Google. The land of Gog and Magog.
According to Wikipedia, Gog and Magog appear in the Hebrew Bible and the Quran as individuals, tribes, or lands.
Now you heard what Google's saying, right? Google's a great tool. Excuse me. I'm gonna get the map that show you today, countries, and also biblical. Now you see, this is a good one right here. You see, it says Magog, and this points to where? It points right to Russia. Okay, so this is how you look up things, to find out the geographic location. So you have on like a clear vision of, or just envision in general what the scriptures is talking about and what land it is referring to. Who sits in the land of Magog? The Russian Edomites. You see, and that's how you know it's not talking about the sons of Japhet. Now let's read some more of the scripture. It says, verse 3, and say, thus said the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, which are the Iranians today, Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Now, you go back to Google, right? Show you something else for, you Akim out there and you few Akwaf that believe, right? Now, I'm going to show you something, right? Show you something. Iran. Let's type in Iran, Persia. Oh, sorry. It says Iran, right? And you go to, I'll go to Wikipedia. It says Iran, Persian, also called Persia, and officially the Islamic Republic of Iran. So it tells you that the Iranians are the Persians, right? But I want to get specifically because it should say 1935. That should bring up, let's see, matter of fact, let me just say it on Google. 1 second. When did Iran become, when did Persia become Iran?
1935.
There we go.
According to Culture Trip, Iran was always known as Persia to foreign governments and was once heavily influenced by Great Britain and Russia. In 1935, however, the Iranian government requested that all countries with which it had diplomatic relations call the country by its Persian name, Iran.
So, there you go. All right. Now let's go back to the scriptures. So we know who gonna team up with Gog, right? Ezekiel 38 at verse 5, it says, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Tergomar, the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare thyself, thou, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So that's the reason why you see Russia doing what it's doing. All right, that's why you see Russia going across the earth and rallying up its allies, and you see the nations are divided against who should join. Like with Turkey, all right, like I said, Turkey is a NATO member, but yet they're on the sides of, well, they're in between both. Really, to be honest, they don't like a lot of things that go on with within NATO, but at the same time they're doing joint business ventures and collaborations with Russia. All right, which is Gog. Keep that in mind. All right, now Slack 1 second.
Mjolnir, Stormbreaker.
You know, I don't want to get no more in that video because it's gonna keep on going back to that. So let's go into some more scriptures. I'm gonna go to the book of Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13 and verse 17, it says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it." And like I said, you know, that JCPOA, that was a deal. Remember, Persia was a part of the Persians and Medes, right? The Persian Medial Empire. But they was trying to offer the Iranians all types of money not to continue their nuclear program or not to produce as much uranium. All right, because the occupants of the land of Israel, you know, kept complaining about they had ambitions to go to war with them, which, like I said, there's been war since, you know, they've been in that land, and they don't have no neighbor on their side really, and those Iranians are not regarding silver and gold anymore, you know, as far as money. So you'll understand. All right, they furthering along their nuclear ambitions when they have their military day parade. They are flaunting their missiles. All right, they are fronting their nuclear missiles they already have built it, and they continue to build and grow their uranium you know, production. They're continually producing it. All right, because that's showing you they don't have a regard for what America is saying, since they pulled back from that deal during the time of the last president. All right, former President Trump, which that's the one that withdraw from that nuclear deal. Okay, so let's go from there. I'm gonna go to the book of Habakkuk 2:1. It says, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord, Yahweh Shah, answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it." Yeah, because why? The vision is talking about the prophecies. Make it plain means break it down. Break down the vision that the prophets of old did see. All right. Verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time," and we're living in an appointed time, right? You see everything is going on. "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." So we know that the prophecies may tarry, but hey, it's going to surely come to pass. We know that this is the end game for America, right? We know that America is Babylon the Great. We know that the Most High has plans for this place, and we know the plans that the Heavenly Father have for this place are not good. All right. Matter of fact, let's go over it a little bit. I wanted to get a precept out of here. I think I passed it up, Salakia. Here we go. Revelation 17 and Revelation 17 and verse 16, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Now, when you go into the 7 heads and 10 horns, that's talking about NATO and the EU. Those so-called European countries, they're gonna come against America as well. Remember at the beginning of the Ukrainian and Russian conflict, a lot of them European countries were complaining about their economy, all right, being hurt by trying to sanction Russia. And what were Russia doing? They was returning sanctions upon those countries, and it's affecting those countries greatly. See? Verse 17, for the Most High hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And that's what happened. You know, America, was it became the golden city out of all those countries, because it come out of Great Britain. All right, America was birthed through Great Britain and became what? The golden city. All right, and the Most High is going to destroy this place because this is Babylon the Great. And you can tell it's Babylon the Great because what country stands out the most on this earth? America. What country that leads most of these countries across the earth, or have a heavy influence, I should say? That's America. All right, and that's how we know that this is a Babylon the Great. The things that it stands for, the things that are against the Heavenly Father. A lot of things in this place, which I'm not going to go into in this video. Like I said, I ain't going to make it long, but show you that this is a place of confusion. All right? And you're going to see what? This place go out, being led by the North Country. This is Jeremiah 50. In verse 3, it says, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. So what north country is that? The country that sit furthest north, which would be Russia. You see? And that's how we know. All right, that's how we know that the Most High is going to take this place out. All right, being led as far as the destruction coming, ultimately from the Most High, right? But the main nation he's going to bring against this place is Russia. All right. It was a precept I wanted to grab. Revelation 20, Revelation 20 and 8. It says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle, Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle. So, the battle is going to be, or that great battle is going to be World War III. Because you got to think about it. World War III is being brewed before our very eyes if you paid attention to it. Why do you think there's so much tension among the nations? Especially between Babylon the Great, which is America, and Gog, which is Russia. And it's heating up. It's heating up, man. More and more. It's heating up. It's not going to slow down. This thing is hastening and moving along. All right, Revelation 11 and 14, it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. That's talking about what? The destruction or war. Second World War, and this is going to be the third World War, the end of all wars. All right, this is going to be that war right here, World War III. The war is going to end all wars. And it's hastening greatly, right? Before our very eyes. All right, so with that, Lord willing, you were edified. And until next time, I want to say shalom.